back to First Down Fridays. I'm your co-host, Tucker Moore, joined by my co-host, Johnny Felder. And we have another week of fun, action-packed football for you guys. First, I want to start off, I want to get into our predictions from last week. So we want to give a little recap as far as how that went, how our predictions were. Yeah. Personally, I went 4-2, not a bad week. What was your record?
So I went 3-2, I believe, but one of the games that I saw I really wasn't impressed with, and that's the Texas A&M and the Auburn game.
Yeah, I agree. That one shocked me a little bit. I believe it was 10-17. The Texas A&M offense specifically, you know, they're high flying offense. You know, so far this season, put up 40 some odd points against Notre Dame. I mean, that's just the duality of college football. You know, sometimes you come in and lay a goose egg, and sometimes you blow them out the water. They still won, though, which I did predict. It was a little more of a defensive showdown.
Yeah, it was like one of those slugfest type of fights.
Yeah, which is, I mean, they can be fun to watch. I just definitely didn't expect that with Marcel Reed, Kevin Concepcion, and that offense. They really just.
He still did good, though. I mean, 7 receptions, I believe, for 165 yards.
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't equate to a lot of points, but sometimes that happens. But so that was a good one right there. Moving on, you know, Kentucky versus South Carolina. It was about what I expected as far as, I mean. First of all, I'll say South Carolina really needed a game like that. Mm-hmm. You know, that was really a must-win, an absolute must-win for that team. Right. For a team that had so many expectations coming into the season, you know, playoff talks, and to start out 2-2, dropping 2 of the games, quite frankly, 2 of the easier games on your schedule. They have a brutal schedule coming up. That was an absolute must-win. And they came out and they did everything they needed to do. I want to say Beamer ball in full effect. You had two defensive touchdowns that really started to separate the score. Mm-hmm. Offense, once again, you know, not necessarily.
Offense had looked really, really iffy, especially on Kentucky's side also, I'll say that.
Yeah. I'll say for South Carolina, you know, the ground game still isn't where you want it to be. Granted, Rasul Faison had 2 good rushing touchdowns. Yeah. On the ground, Lenore Sellers actually had one of his more breakout games. He's kind of looking like his old self again. Mm-hmm. But just, you know, they scored 21 points. Nothing too crazy to write home about. 35-13. Just if you're a South Carolina fan, you just got to be happy with it.
Yeah.
You know, their defense showed up. And in a big way, like I said, the 2 defensive touchdowns. Dylan Stewart with, you know, doing Dylan Stewart things. You know, he had a sack, 2 forced fumbles. Along with Brian Thomas Jr., he had 2 sacks. They just played overall really good and clean football. They played a lot more clean, a lot less penalties, and most importantly, no turnovers.
That's factuals.
Yeah. Moving on, the USC and Illinois game. Now that was a really fun game to watch. It was, especially in the fourth quarter. It was a back and forth battle between the 2 teams. USC, I picked. That was one of my picks I got wrong. I picked USC to win.
Me too.
You know that their offense. I mean, their offense still. That was one of my reasons for picking them. Their offense is just so potent. They're a top 5 offense in the country this year with and especially I'll talk about Mekhi Lemon, their leading receiver. Oh, he is just a highlight machine. He leads the nation in receiving yards. If you watch the game, you saw that crazy touchdown he had. What an X factor guy they have in him. And you know, unfortunately, Illinois, I think they had a really a nasty taste in their mouth after that blowout loss the week prior to Indiana. Mm-hmm. And they came out and, you know, I can't say if they wanted it more. Clearly, they did what it took to get the win. And I think both defenses had trouble stopping either offense.
Right.
And you just saw it was a really fun dual shootout type of game. Yeah. Moving on, we had LSU and Ole Miss. I predicted the upset, Ole Miss taking down LSU. It was really about what I expected. LSU's offense this year, despite all the expectations they had coming into the year,
right.
they've struggled. Looking at week one, I'm going to keep pointing back to this because I think LSU is really overrated. Pointing back to week one, we were looking at that Clemson win as, that was a defining win for the season.
It's just starting to look real.
It's just looking really bad. Only put up 17 points on a very struggling Clemson team right now. And after that, they only put up 20 points to a Florida team that gave them 5 interceptions, a lot of them in the red zone. So I was not confident in their offense going into this week, and they proved me right. With a less than stellar outing there. And on the flip side, Ole Miss has a much more potent offense in my opinion. Only put up 24 points, but I think that's indicative of how good LSU's defense is. They do have a really elite defense, I will say that.
Right.
But with that being said, I did predict it. I thought it would happen. I didn't think it was much of an upset in my mind, but for some it was a little shocking.
So I feel like personally, going forward, I believe that Ole Miss found their QB1 with Trinidad Chambers. He done prove a point to everybody that he can go up against the big competition like LSU, and he proved himself. And I mean, the stats don't lie, and the film didn't lie either. I watched the game on Saturday, and I'll say that he's doing way better than Garrett Nussmeier. I think he had 197 yards passing versus his 300 and something passing yards and 1 touchdown and 1 interception. So, yeah.
Yeah. Moving on, I want to get into Alabama versus Georgia. This was the other pick that I got incorrect. It was a battle. It was a really tight game. Obviously Alabama winning 24-21. I kind of expected it to be a really close game, a little more low scoring. There were some questionable play calls there at the end, specifically with Georgia going for it in plus territory.
Right.
They had a chip shot field goal, but they wanted to go for it, control the clock a little more, potentially go out and get a touchdown there. Didn't pay off. That's the risk and reward of risky 4th down play calls like that.
Right.
It's a play call that Kirby has made a lot in the past, and it's worked out. It didn't this time, and you see that ultimately kind of cost them a chance to win the game. Ultimately, Alabama, they played very well, considering they were, some might say, a sizable underdog. With Alabama, Georgia, regardless, it's always going to be a close, hard-fought, battling game.
Right.
And it was, nothing to be unexpected with that one.
So I feel like, with this win, I feel like Alabama needed that win, especially the quarterback, Ty Simpson. I feel like he needed that to boost his confidence, not only just his confidence, but his teammates' confidence, and then just to prove a point to the playoff committee that we know that we can do this, and I'm the man that can really take us to the promised land in the playoffs.
That's right. Yeah, he has really improved in my eyes from what I've seen. Week one, struggled a lot versus FSU, but granted, first game starting for them, and I think he's starting to get it rolling. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a big win for that program. And then to close it out, I want to get into probably the biggest matchup of the week, last week, with Penn State and Oregon. I kind of said it last week, and it continues to be proven true, the narrative that James Franklin can't win big games. And actually,
it's so crazy, like you said, it's so crazy that you say that, throughout the years that we've been watching, every time he goes up on the big stage, it's like he cannot perform.
Yeah. And
there's a reason why he cannot dance, pretty much.
And it's pretty funny because he's aware of that narrative, and in his post-game interview, he actually brought it up. He was like, this narrative, we can't win big games. It's not a narrative, it's true.
It is facts.
Unfortunately, with all the success that they've had, there's just some hump there where in big games, he just doesn't get it done. You know, they'll get it done versus the inferior opponents. They'll be a top 5 undefeated team until Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan rolls into town.
It's so crazy. Like, they can't even beat their teams in their own conference.
Yeah, I mean, but, you know, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think they'll bounce back. I mean, you know, a very, very close game. You know, Oregon just went out, and especially going into a whiteout and getting it done. You know, props to them. Props to Dan Lanning getting his players ready to go. And, yeah, I predicted them to win. It was a really close, fun game to watch, and I'm excited for the rest of the year with both of these teams. So,
I had predicted them. I had predicted Penn State to win.
Oh, did you? Well,
I did.
The whiteout, and Mo Bamba strung you along, but that's going to do it for our recap segment. In a few moments, we're going to get into our predictions for this week's games, and we have a set of really big marquee matchups for you guys. So join us in a moment.
Let's go.
Welcome back to First Down Fridays. I'm your co-host, Tucker Moore, joined by Johnny Felder. Now we're going to get into our segment for the week of predicting the upcoming big games for you guys. We have a set of 6 games. I think you guys, they're more of the big marquee matchups. Fun games, can't wait to talk about them. But I want to start with Texas Tech and Houston. This is a really big game. You have Texas Tech coming in, number 11 team in the country. Crazy how they've really just turned that program around. Yeah. They have one of the bigger, kind of benefits from their transfer portal that I've seen in the first couple of years. I mean, they've completely just flipped their roster with the transfer portal. I think they brought in the number 1 class, brought in 25, 30 guys. One of the bigger budgets, regardless. You're seeing the transfer portal kind of play out in real time with a case like this. You know, they've catapulted, like I said, to a top 11 team. But coming into this game, their offense, I think that's just the standout for them. Right. Their offense is just potent. They're averaging 52 points a game, top 2 team in the nation as far as that. And you have Houston, they're undefeated. You know, they haven't really played a big game, a game as big as this yet. Right. So I'm excited to see how they kind of come in and handle a team who's just, you know, started out just firing on all cylinders. Yeah, what are your kind of thoughts on this one?
So my thoughts about the game, I mean, it's pretty much any team to either take to win or lose. And, I mean, you got Texas Tech being the number 1 offense in the country right now. I mean, they're scoring, like you said, 52 points unanswered, man. Like, it is really crazy. And then you got Houston on the other side. They brought people in from the transfer portal too. One of their quarterbacks being Connor Wigman from Texas A&M, right, yeah. And it's really up to them, pretty much to either stop Texas A&M, not Texas A&M.
Texas Tech, hey, close enough, close enough.
Not Texas Tech.
One of those teams.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's really up to them to really stop them. It's really up to them.
Oh yeah, and I mean it's sometimes it's easier said than done, especially with a team like that. Ultimately, though, I do have Texas Tech winning 45-17. I think that offense right now, Houston hasn't showed me enough to prove to me that they're going to be able to stop that offense. That's kind of where I see it going. So moving on, let's get into Louisville and Virginia. Now, we all saw what happened with Virginia last week, coming off a huge win versus FSU, Florida State, obviously. Right. Catapulted them into the top 25, number 24. I don't know the stat, but it's been a while since they've been a top 25 team. Yeah. Virginia, historically, in the last decade or so, they're not necessarily the most illustrious program. But last week, they showed that they're not a team to play around with. They came out. One of the coolest storming of the fields I've seen in a long time. Shout out Squirrel White. Hope he's okay. He got trampled in that field rush for FSU. But anyways, getting into the actual game, this is a really, really fun one. I'm excited to see two undefeated teams right now. You look at Louisville. Coming into the season, they're headlined by kind of their top two. They have a two-headed monster at running back with Isaac Brown and Jawan Brown. Both of them split carries pretty much. Both of them have 3 or 4 touchdowns on the ground. They're elite running backs. As far as their quarterback play, Miller Moss, the transfer from USC, he hasn't really played too good this year so far. I think he has 5 touchdowns, 3 picks. Been pretty disappointing for them, but they're still 4-0. Coming into the game, like I said, that rushing attack is really good. And on the side for Virginia, Chandler Morris last week played a really good game. He led that team well. He's playing really good this year. He has 10 touchdowns, 4 picks, around 1,200 yards. So he's coming out and firing on all cylinders. And as far as this game, it's really just up to, I think the key factor is how is this Virginia defense, going to stop this rushing attack. These two running backs, like I said, it's a two-headed monster. They're really productive, kind of a lightning and thunder combo, a little speed, a little power, elusiveness. So I'm really just looking forward to seeing how they stop them. Ultimately, I'll just get into my prediction. I do have Louisville winning 31-24 in this one. So I think it'll be a really good game. I'm just excited to see how they kind of come out.
So, like how you said, so the question is, how is Virginia going to really stop the two-headed monsters that they have in Louisville's backfield? And another thing that really worries me about Virginia's offense is Chandler Morrison's his decision making. So watching the game last week against FSU, during those last few moments, can he make the right decisions to lead his team to win against the Cards? Or will he do the same thing that he did against FSU? But all in all though, I believe that Louisville is going to win, and I have it being a 27-24 type of game, honestly.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a really good game regardless. And I agree with what you said with Chandler Morris. Last game, that FSU game, he had a crucial pick or two in crunch time. That was, but ultimately he did do enough to lead his offense, get them down the field, score. I believe they scored 46 points. You don't get 46 points without a competent quarterback, at least. But I agree with what you said. He does have a few turnover issues, but hopefully this week he'll come out and kind of change that narrative on him. But moving on, I want to get into Mississippi State and Texas A&M. We kind of briefly talked about Texas A&M last week. Offensively, they struggled. Didn't expect that. As far as Mississippi State, 2-10 team last year. Come out this year really, really playing good football so far with the upset win a few weeks ago over ASU. They're a fun, young football team. You look at Blake Shapen; he's played really good. Their starting quarterback, and they kind of have an X-factor receiver on the boundaries with Brennan Thompson. He actually had that game-winning touchdown versus ASU. He's been really productive thus far. But ultimately, I don't see it being enough to stifle what Texas A&M has going on offense and defense even. Like I said, we briefly mentioned Marcel Reed and Kevin Concepcion, along with Le'Veon Moss in the backfield.
Oh, man.
I think they just, that's a three-headed monster right there. I keep talking about monsters, but, I just don't, I don't know if they have enough firepower to keep up or, enough grit to stop them consistently. Not to say that they haven't come out and surprised me. They have. Ultimately, I just think Texas A&M is a better football team.
Like I said, I agree with that. So I feel like Texas A&M is going to be the one to win the game. So it's really pretty much up to the offense that's really going to really dictate this game, especially for Marcel Reed. Last week against Auburn, I think, I really wasn't impressed with his performance and Jackson Arnold's performance. I really wasn't impressed. So it's really just one of his bounce back games, you could say, for me, for watching him. I'll say that.
Yeah,
For me personally.
Yeah. Ultimately, I do have Texas A&M winning. I want to give it a 45-17 type of game. I almost hope I'm not wrong. Mississippi State is kind of the Cinderella team this year.
Yeah.
I feel in my heart they're America's team. But ultimately, I think they're kind of gonna get shut up this weekend, unfortunately. But we'll see. Moving on, I want to get into Texas and Florida. This is a game last year, Texas absolutely dominated them.
Yeah.
Obviously Texas was what they were and Florida was what they were. This year, it's kind of a little bit of a different story. Texas so far has struggled a little with specifically Arch Manning, this kind of narrative. As a matter of fact, both quarterbacks, for both teams, came into the year with really high expectations. Talking about DJ Lagway and Arch Manning, coming into the year, they were both kind of, at the very least, consensus top 10 quarterbacks.
Right.
And in the SEC, top 2, top 3, both of them. And for them to both be struggling like they have this year, it's been pretty surprising for me. Me personally, I didn't come into the season thinking either of them were going to absolutely light it up. I think there's a lot of pressure being put on them. Regardless, looking at these two teams, Florida has really struggled, specifically offensively, and I think that kind of goes into what I was talking about with DJ Lagway.
Right.
He just hasn't been processing the field very well. Like I mentioned a few weeks ago, he had the 5-pick game versus LSU. And, I don't know what's going on with them. And they had the upset loss to USF. They only put up 17 points, I believe. I don't know what's been going on with their offense. And coming into this game, if they want to have a chance at winning, you have to figure something out against this Texas defense that is loaded.
Right.
Top 5 defense in the nation. I believe they're number 2, only allowing 7.8 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to check the stats and see what Florida's averaging, but probably honestly not much more than that. But overall, I don't see Florida really having a chance in this game. Despite Texas's struggles, specifically on the offensive side of the ball, I still think they're going to come out and kind of roll over them. I have Texas winning 38-14 in this one.
I agree with that. I mean, like you said, I feel like Texas is going to come in and just dog walk all over them. I mean, like DJ Lagway with 5 interceptions, man. Like what? Like how? Like why? Like you literally can't think of nothing far worse than that. Honestly, and I still talk about it still to this day. And it's just literally just one of those things. Like Florida can't really find their offense of consistency within their quarterback room or even their skilled players as a whole, especially their veterans within that whole offensive group. But like I said, though, give me Texas, hook them, and the score, 35-7.
Yeah. Wow. You got them. Hey. It's not far off from mine, so we'll see. I mean, anything could happen, but I haven't seen enough of anything from Florida to garner a pick for me.
Yeah.
But moving on, I want to get into Alabama and Vanderbilt. This personally, I think I have a game of the week every week I'm most excited to watch.
This is mine.
For me, personally, I think I'm most excited to watch this. As I mentioned previously, I'm a South Carolina fan. We play both of these teams. Already got dominated by Vanderbilt, and we play, Alabama coming up soon. So, this is just kind of like a test of, a litmus test, if you will. Mm-hmm. I'm just really excited to see how Alabama deals with Diego Pavia in this offense. They don't have the absolute most star-studded roster, but their game plan and their scheme each week to misdirect you and trip you up and get you out of place and strike. It's like just really fun to watch as far as their offensive coordinator for Vanderbilt. And Clark Leah has got those boys really pumped up and fired, ready to go. On the flip side, I think Alabama, specifically last year, losing to them, being the number one team, losing to Vanderbilt was like one of the biggest upsets in college football history. Looking back, it wasn't as big of an upset as we thought it was.
Right.
Still, regardless, at the moment, that was unheard of. Mm-hmm. So, I think they're going to come in this year, this week specifically, and really, really be on their P's and Q's. They don't want to be embarrassed like they were last year. I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder, kind of. And also, coming off a huge win, they do have to be careful because this kind of is a prototypical trap game. You don't want to come in and sleepwalk against this team. Like I said, this is kind of the David and Goliath, but it's a little less David and Goliath than it has been in previous years. So overall, though, I do think Alabama is the better football team, and I do think they're going to come out way more prepared than they were last year. And I think that first loss versus FSU kind of whipped them into shape, and I think they've got things going. So ultimately, I do have Alabama winning. I have them winning 28-14. Ultimately, I think their defense is going to be able to corral Diego Pavia, and that's my key to the game. If they let him run loose and rampant, they could easily lose this game.
So I definitely like the points that you have point out, especially about this game. I really like Vandy's offense as a whole. They remind me of the Indiana Pacers. So for the reason why I say that is because
that's a great comparison.
The reason why I say that is because it's like Diego Pavia is like another Tyrese Halliburton. He's just putting his team all on his back, especially within this year.
Yeah.
In this week alone, he has a whole lot of hype, especially going against Bama. I mean, they defeated them last year, and Bama still has that taste in their mouth pretty much. And it's pretty much both of their games to either win or lose. But this week, man, like I said, don't call my bluff, but I think I got Vandy taking it. I got Vandy taking it 35 to 21 type of game.
Okay.
I'm riding the Diego Pavia train.
Okay, hey.
I'm gonna have to. Commodores, man, let's do it.
Okay, hey, I'm excited. Regardless, I'm excited to see it. I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch, but we'll see how that one goes. But moving into our final prediction of the day, one of the bigger matchups of the week, a big rivalry game, FSU versus Miami. This is a really exciting one to watch.
This is actually the real battle of Florida.
Yeah. Florida, USF, staying aside. This is a big one right here. Miami coming into this one, top 5 team. Florida State coming off of a tough loss. I think that's going to play a key factor. I think especially you tend to see these teams who will kind of get upset come out and just be on another level of preparedness, just fiery, just competitiveness, hitting people. Right. And you look at FSU, I mean, what more can you say? Top 5 offense, 53 points a game. Mm-hmm. I believe they're actually the number 1 offense in the country thus far. Not quite what I expected at all. With Tommy Castellanos, he's come in and just looked like baby Kyler Murray, which I don't know if you can call him baby Kyler Murray. He's already a baby. But, you know what I'm saying. He's very reminiscent of Kyler Murray. He's been a dog. He's been a great leader. He's really put the team on his back. Right. They have a lot of weapons, surrounding him. And overall, I as far as Miami, we were kind of talking about this before the show. I don't see Carson Beck having the it factor that somebody like a Castellanos has. Right. I look at Carson Beck as a little more of a game manager. Not to say he's a bad quarterback by any means. Mm-hmm. I just don't see him. I don't see him personally going out and winning a game for your team.
Right.
I think he can facilitate. He's a great facilitator. He can spread the ball around, get it to his weapons. Overall, I haven't been as impressed with FSU. I mean, as Miami as I have been FSU. Despite their loss last week, I still have seen a lot more to be confident in with them, especially their offense, than I have Miami. So I actually have FSU with the upset this week. I think they're going to win 38-31. I think it's going to be a really good game. I just think that's just how I see it playing out. I think that offense is just too potent.
So I agree with you on that. I really like FSU's offense, me personally. And no diss to Miami or anything like that, but Carson Beck, like, he is a good quarterback and all that, but it's just really just one of those things, like, he really hasn't really impressed me this year, just like Castellanos or Matier or anybody like that. And I feel like FSU, this game, it's literally one of their games to win or lose and to pretty much own the state of Florida, man. Like, I mean, like, who wouldn't want that title? And I feel like Tommy is going to put his team on his back and just dust off the loss. And I have FSU winning 35-14.
Wow. So we both got the upset. It's one of those, kind of like I said last week with Ole Miss and LSU. I don't really see it as all that much of an upset, but it is statistically, number 2 versus number 13, I believe.
Right.
Technically, it's an upset, but so we both have FSU winning that one. But either way, excited for all these games, and I'm excited to for next week to get into the recaps for these games and. But we'll see how all that goes Saturday. But that's going to do it for this segment. Join us in a moment. We're going to do our weekly trivia, and we're excited for this one. Johnny and me both brought in some good obscure or college football traditions. So excited for that. But we'll be back with more First Down Fridays in a moment. Welcome back to First Down Fridays. I'm your co-host, Tucker Moore, joined by Johnny Felder. And now we have, personally, maybe my favorite segment each week. We have our trivia segment. And this week we brought in a little bit of a different thing. We want to get into, we both brought in 3 different college football traditions and what schools do them. Some a little more obscure. I don't think any of them are incredibly challenging, but either way, it's the same format we do each week. We have the easy, medium, hard, kind of 3. We both brought in 3 questions. And obviously play along with us at home. Once we give our first one or whatever, pause the video and comment in the comment section your answer. And let's get into it. Are you ready, sir? I'll let you go first this week, actually.
All right, so I'm going to make this one very easy for you. So the question I have, what team goes out on the field with the Sandman song by Metallica?
Yeah, that would be Virginia Tech. Okay. Funny enough, that was actually also my first one. So, I guess I had a cheat sheet. Okay, wow. So we got Virginia Tech. All right. Okay. On the spot, let me think of one really quick. Let me think. Okay. I'll just, off the top of my head, this will be an easy one. Which team comes out and on a horseback and spears the middle of the field?
Come on, man. Give me them nose.
Okay. You got a softball. All
right. So my next question is, which 2 teams play in this bowl called the Iron Bowl?
Okay, that's Alabama-Auburn.
All right, that's good. Right? That's right. Okay.
Another little softball. I'll take it, though. All right. So my second one, this is a little more challenging. What team strodes toilet paper across their trees and their campus after a win? After a home win, specifically.
So say that again.
So the fans of this team. After a win, they will go around their campus, specifically Toomer Street, and they will throw toilet paper all over, TP the trees around campus.
West Virginia.
I'll give you a hint. They're in the Iron Bowl.
They're in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
Auburn.
Yeah,
All
Auburn.
right.
It's Auburn. It's Auburn. Yeah, that was a little bit. Yeah, I think that's a little bit more of a challenging one. I don't know if you watch that. If you happen to watch the SEC documentary, I think you would have saw that because they showed them doing that in the.
Oh yeah, I do remember seeing that.
Yeah. Really fun tradition, but we'll let you go ahead and get into your last one.
So I'm not gonna lie to you, I just forgot my last question, so I'm just gonna think off the top of my noggin real fast.
Feel free to check real quick if you need to. Okay.
So my question is, which team has a tradition of throwing tortillas on the field?
Oh, that's a great one. I just saw this.
And I'll give you a quick hint. They had played Colorado last season, and we just talked about them today.
Yeah, I know who it is. I think it is. Houston.
No. It was Texas Tech.
I knew it. I knew it was one of the two. I just saw a clip of that the other day.
It's so crazy. Like I'd never
That's
seen
a good one though.
nothing
That's a great one.
I just had popped it off the
I
top
would
of
have
my
thought of that
head.
one. That's a good one.
I'd never seen nothing like that. Like you never seen like no fans just.
Yeah, it's I don't even know the backstory behind that, but I see that that's pretty out of pocket.
They said like it been like a tradition, but like I really never seen it like while they were playing or whatever, except when they played Colorado.
Yeah.
So I was just like, what?
Yeah, like I said, I just saw a clip of that last week, but that's a good one. But for my last one, this one might, but depending who you are, this one might be really easy or really hard. What team's fans? This is a tradition they've been doing for around 40 years. Specifically to away games, they will bring $2 bills with them.
$2 bills.
Stamped by their team's logo.
What? $2 bill.
Now, I said this is the harder one, but
I can get a hint.
So it's an ACC team.
It's an ACC team. Bro, like what? Stanford?
No.
Let me get one more. North Carolina?
No. Clemson.
What?
So the backstory behind that specifically, I believe it was around 45 years ago. They had their rivalry with Georgia Tech each year, and the schools or whatever, they dismissed the rivalry. They weren't going to do it again. And in protest, for whatever reason, when they started stamping $2 bills and bringing it to away games and to pay for stuff like that. I don't know what type of protest that is, but it's a tradition. I actually heard about this. I was watching one of the Clemson games earlier this year, and they mentioned something about it. So that's why I said it could either be really easy or really hard. Without that piece of information, I never would have known that.
I didn't even know. I was like, what?
Pretty
like
crazy.
$2.
All you Clemson fans out there, let me know if you even knew about that, because I've asked a few, and some don't even know about that. But that's gonna do it for our trivia. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you guys in the comments have any ideas for trivia you want to see us explore, feel free to comment below. But either way, we'll come in next week with a new batch of fun and challenging questions for you guys. And but that'll do it for this segment. And coming up, we're going to do our recap / prediction for Newberry's football game this week. But join us for more in a few moments. Welcome back to First Down Fridays. I'm your co-host, Tucker Moore, and I'm joined here by Johnny Felder. Now for our last segment, we do this every week, at our alma mater, Newberry College. We want to get into, first of all, talk about the big win they had last week versus Lenore Ryan. Historically, a big rivalry between the two teams. usually a very tough matchup.
Right.
Newberry actually came away with the win 20-17, brought the Bishop Trophy back home. That's always a big deal.
Yes, Lord.
Really, really big win for Newberry. They're sitting at 3-1 now. And upcoming, they're going to face Wingate this Saturday, Wingate University. Another huge game. Wingate's a really good team. And what are you looking for in this game? It's a really exciting game, you know.
So what I'm really looking forward in this game, I'm really looking forward to the offense. I'm really looking forward to watching the whole offense just continue to gain more confidence in the game as it goes, because if they can produce on offense, then Wingate's defense will have a long one with them. But on Wingate's side, you have a good offensive team on their side, and they get it going too. So it's really just one of those things that I feel like it's literally just going to be a defensive game here in Newberry pretty much. But with that being said, I have Newberry winning. I'll give it like a 35-21 type of game. I'll say that. I'll say that it's going to be very close. It's going to be one of those games.
Yeah, I mean, Newberry showed that they're a pretty competent team, obviously. I'm excited to see how their offense continues to grow and get better. Reed Sharpia had a really good game last week. He's surrounded by weapons on offense.
I'm trying to
whether
tell
it's
you.
Keith Desashore, whether it's DeAndre Coleman, you know, he's just surrounded by really talented guys. So I think that could be an X factor for them. And on the defensive side, you know, Jamar Blandon, he's playing like an All-American. So excited to see how he faces up with Wingate's offense. But, you know, hopefully Newberry can come out and get the win, extend their record to 4-1. But we'll see, and we'll give you the recap of that next week. But that's going to do it for this week, guys. Excited to get into this week's slate of college football, and we'll join you next Friday for more recaps and predictions, guys.